Welcome back to another video on the TechSong channel. We're playing with the Raspberry Pi again, and specifically we're playing with the Pi4J Java framework. And what we're going to do today is we're going to make use of the PiFace. This is the PiFace. It's a really cool device that allows you to play with programming without having to wire things up on a breadboard or worry about circuitry. It comes with a bunch of features. First, it's got this series of buttons here with which you can take action. And then it's also got a series of LED lights with which you can turn on or off. And then the shape of the device is such that you can very easily slide it on top of the Raspberry Pi. And it fits together easily and neatly. There's no need for breadboards or wiring or anything. It just fits and it works. What we're going to do is show you what it takes to actually get your Raspberry Pi working with the PiFace, specifically as it relates to the Pi4J framework. You do need to make sure that you are enabling a software driver. It does make use of the Software Peripheral Interface. So for SPI communication, there are a few things that you need to do to your Raspberry Pi, and that's what I'm going to walk you through today. Let's get started. I'm just going to go ahead and log into my Raspberry Pi. I've got my Raspberry Pi connected to my home network, which allows me to go ahead and secure shell into it by referencing its internal IP address. If you don't have that going on, you just may need to make sure you've got your Raspberry Pi plugged into a monitor and that you've got a USB keyboard connected to it as well. I'm all set to go this way, so we'll do this. I'll just go ahead and issue my password. And then what we're going to do is we're going to very simply enable the SPI driver on the Raspberry Pi. The software that needs to exist already exists. We just need to make sure that we are activating it. And by default, in a lot of Raspberry Pis, it isn't activated. So that's what we're going to do, is permanently make sure that the SPI driver is activated and working, and that it's not blacklisted. It's always loaded when you boot your Raspberry Pi. There are ways that you can issue commands to do it temporarily or per session, meaning it will be activated until you reboot. But because we're going to do a series of exercises that are related to the PiFace, we need that driver always loaded. It's going to be a lot more convenient that way. So that's the way that we're going to go ahead and do it. So let me show you how to do that. We're going to very simply edit a file. We do need root privileges, so I've got the sudo command that I'm going to put in front of this. And we're going to do, let's see, and of course, I understand that it's probably not all that easy to read what I'm typing out, so I'll make sure that I've got the command that I'm typing here listed in the video description so that you can go back and do this as well yourself. This is the file that I'm going to edit, and I'm going to make sure that I'm editing that with root privileges so that I can make changes and save it. This is what it looks like. If you don't have this file, which is a possibility, then it could mean that you do not have the SPI driver on your blacklist. If this file doesn't exist, you might be okay. But it exists on my machine, so what I'm going to do is just comment out this line by putting a hash in front of it, just the pound sign in front of that line. And then what I'll do is I'll hit Control X. I should be prompted to save changes. I'm going to say yes, and then that's it. There is one important consideration. You may not actually have that file. So let me show you what to do in that case. If you don't have that file, you'll want to go ahead and edit another text file instead. Look for /boot/config.txt. I'll show you that. We'll go here. We're going to make sure that we edit this as root. So it's sudo nano /boot/config.txt. You bring that up. Then you'll just make sure that you jump down to the bottom of that, and you'll look for this dt param equals SPI equals on. It's commented out with a hash mark. You'll just want to take off that hash and make sure that that is actually enabled. And then you'll Control X to save your file, answer yes to save the changes, and then you're done. What I'll do now at this point is I'll go ahead and issue a reboot command, and that should reboot the Raspberry Pi. And then it should kick me off, which it's going to do right here. And that's it. When the Raspberry comes back online, then the SPI driver is active and ready for you to start doing some exercises that are specific to the PiFace. So we'll go ahead and close it up there, and then I'll be following up here really soon with some PiFace specific Raspberry Pi exercises related to the Pi4J framework. I'll see you then.